delivers that message, that same message to both Israelis and the
That's correct.
Palestinians?
That's correct.
So he calls up Prime Minister Netanyahu and says, hey, Bibi, I want to stress to you the importance of strongly condemning violence and ending incitement. Does the United States believe, does the administration believe that Israel is inciting or not condemning violence?
I think what we've been very clear about saying is that we want to see both sides take affirmative steps, affirmative actions that reduce tensions in the region. And that we've seen, frankly, we've seen horrific attacks, obviously, today. You saw our statement earlier condemning those attacks. But we've seen also attacks on Palestinians that remain, investigations remain ongoing, that have taken place now 3 or 4 weeks ago. But overall, we need to lower the temperature. We need to reduce these kinds of incitements or inflammatory actions and calm things down.
But that message is delivered to both, not just to one side. So the U.S., the administration sees both sides at fault here. Is that correct?
Again, I mean, you're asking, the phrasing of your question, at fault. I think what we're saying is that both sides need to, as their leaders, need to express the fact that both sides need to decrease the tensions that are leading to ongoing incidents of violence. But you know, you're asking me to assign blame, and I don't think that's the case. I think what we need to see is the tension reduction in the actions that we've seen over the past couple of days. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not asking you to assign blame. I'm asking if your message to both the Israelis and the Palestinians is the same. And you said it is. So carrying on from that, you know, can you explain what it is that you're not satisfied with from the Israeli government in terms of condemning violence and combating incitement?
It's not, I mean, you're saying that we're not satisfied. I think that our consistent, I can't remember what you're,
Well,
sorry.
I mean, if the secretary is calling up both Abbas and Netanyahu and has the same message for both of them, it would suggest that you think that both of them need to do more today. And I'm just trying to figure out what is it you would want the Israelis to do.
Well, for
more
one thing,
in condemning the
upholding,
violence.
for one thing, as I said,
and
upholding the status quo in Haram al-Sharif and Temple Mount.
But has there been a suggestion that the status quo is going to be changed?
But also, we don't want to see, just to continue, sorry, to finish, but, you know, again, we've seen ongoing incidents of violence today, the attacks on Israelis. And so we're trying to be consistent, but also drive home the point that both sides need to take actions affirmative actions that reduce tensions in the region. I think that's, or in the area, I think that's self-explanatory, and I don't think it's necessarily saying that we're dissatisfied with either one party or the other. We're just saying that to end the current cycle, both sides need to take action.
So you're satisfied with both sides then?
Again, we recognize that the situation right now is...
Let me break this down. Do you think the Palestinian Authority, President Abbas, needs to do more to combat incitement and condemn violence?
Again, I think that both leaders need to convey that message, need to urge both sides to avoid inflammatory actions. That's where I'd leave it.
You can't. Well, do you think the Israelis need to do more to
Again,
condemn
Matt,
violence?
I mean, look.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what is the message of the administration to both sides in this case. If it's the same message to both, it suggests.
I think it's a consistent message that both sides need to take actions to reduce tensions, to stop the cycle of violence that's currently taking place, and as I said, to uphold the status quo of Haram al-Sharif and the Temple Mount. I don't know that you're asking me to say that we're giving one side a different message. That's not the case.
Well, okay. Well, then that answers my question.
Okay.
So you're not happy with the cycle of violence. You think it's bad, clearly, but you think that the message to both sides needs to be the same. That's correct, right?
Yes, in the sense of, I mean, and our statement frankly said as much. We condemn, obviously, today's in the strongest possible terms, the attack against Israeli civilians. It was the murder of 3 Israelis and left others injured. but we also mourn the loss of any loss of innocent life, Israeli or Palestinian.
All right.
I don't know how that could be more plainly put.
Well, I suppose it can't, but I would just, my question was whether the message to both sides is the same, and if it is, like, and you say that it is, why is the message but to both sides the same? Do you think they both are lacking in or are not doing enough to do what you want them to do?
I think, and again, my answer to that, and I regret if I haven't been clear enough, is that, we're deeply concerned that there's escalating tensions on both sides, so we want to see both sides take affirmative steps to decrease those tensions.